Right now, though, we're going to look back on what's another very poor weekend as far as Manchester United are concerned. And to celebrate the release of the new film Marching Powder, starring Danny Dyer, Lee Sharpe is joining us today to talk about what it was like playing football back in his day and what is going on at Old Trafford at the moment.
Get retro on talkSPORT with Marching Powder, the hard-hitting, hilarious new film with Danny Dyer everyone's talking about. In cinemas everywhere, March 7th.
And I'm glad to say that Lee's on the line now. Lee, very good morning to you.
Morning, Sharpe.
Good morning, Ali. Good morning, Jeff. How you doing?
Yeah, really good, thanks,
well,
mate. I'll tell you what, turning out at Old Trafford in your day would be a bit different than it is at the moment, eh?
Yeah, it's a bit smelly at the moment, isn't it? Although when I first got there, it wasn't quite as rosy. We did have a tough time the first couple of seasons and had to battle through that, and obviously did okay in the end. So I understand the sort of situation they're going through.
Sharpe, I was going to say to you, I mean, I think we've all got to have a degree of sympathy for the man Ruben Amorim who's just come in. Do you think there's any way, and it's a difficult question, I wouldn't say he's underestimated the task ahead, but you think he's actually walked through those doors and he has been a little bit surprised at just the enormity of the job?
I would say so, yes. I think part of the thing was he didn't want to come at this stage in the season. He wanted to come at the end of the season so we could have a pre-season and do his own sort of transfer window. But yeah, I'm sure he's pretty surprised at the performances. And I think trying to get his message across, you usually get a new manager bounce, don't you, when managers come into clubs? And he didn't really have one of those. We've seen David Moyes have exactly that at Everton. So yeah, I think with the system he's trying to play, with the players he's got, I think he's probably been very surprised, I would say. I think he would have thought he could have come in and turned things around pretty quickly, and it's not worked out that way.
I mean, he's come under some criticism this weekend, hasn't he, for saying, that his aim is to win the title for Manchester United. I'm not sure that's fair, though, Lee. What's he meant to say? Our target's to come 10th next season.
No, I think he's absolutely right. The media have jumped on that a little bit. I think it is, he's already said he's not naive enough to think that he's going to be challenging in the immediate term, but long-term goals have to be that. I think the club have even set it out that in the centenary year is the year they're looking to win it or at least to compete in it. So it's going to take him a couple of transfer windows to get the sort of players to fit into his system, to get his message across to players. But yeah, it's certainly a long-term goal. It's not something that's short-term for sure.
You mentioned long-term, and I can see it. Just how long-term, Sharpe, I'm not so sure. You look at that current United squad, and with the greatest respect, I would ask you, how many of them are you keeping as a future to build on? How many? 2 or 3 maybe?
I think you're probably right, Ali. I think 2 or 3. I think there's a few that have got older legs and will probably leave in the summer. I think there's a few that are not quite good enough. I think he's given plenty of chances to a lot of people. I think he's already understood that there's a few that don't fit into his system. So yeah, I think you can probably put on one hand the amount of people that would be consistent performers at the moment, if there are any under the word consistent. But it's players for systems again, isn't it? And he's very much a system manager. So yeah, I would say 5, maybe 6 tops would get the nod, and everybody else will be. He's not going to be able to change every one of them, so he's going to have to keep a lot more than 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So it's a very difficult predicament he's in.
I mean, that's the issue, isn't it? Because I just wonder, Lee, I mean, Manchester United in the past, biggest club in the world, so on and so forth. If Manchester United were interested in bringing you to Old Trafford, generally speaking, you'd go. But I'm not sure that's the case anymore.
It's not. It seems to be ruining a lot of people's careers rather than making them. We see other players go to bigger clubs and improve as players and improve the team. And transfers and recruitment hasn't done that over the last probably 10 years. I think recruitment is a big side of it. They've not brought in the right players for the right sort of money. So it's a huge task at the moment that he's got, and I think it's probably going to be longer term than he expected.
Sharpe, what about the formation? I mean, a lot of people, perhaps myself included, have been slightly critical of the fact that he doesn't seem to, or he won't change the shape or won't change the formation. I kind of lean up towards the point that maybe, because particularly when you come into a new club and they're not your players, I think sometimes initially you've got to adapt to them if they can't adapt to your formation.
I absolutely agree. I think managers have to be adaptable. I think when you get into a football club and they're not used to playing the formation you want to play, and they can't play at top level in the positions that you want them to, then you have to adapt. And I think every manager's tried that. They've not really been given enough time, if you like, to get the players in the system that they want. He's being strong-minded, some say stubborn, but at the end of the day, he's sat 14th, 15th in the league, and to get results, sometimes you have to change your ideas and your plans, and he's not done that at the moment. I'm not sure he's played the same 11 in 2 or 3 games running, so no one's really getting any consistency. He's still trying to learn about players, and I'm sure he's trying to get some sort of understanding for the players that he is keeping of what he wants, but it's not producing results. So in situations like that, I think you have to change, and it's costing them at the moment.
But it'd be nice from a United perspective, wouldn't it, if they had a few of the sort of characters that you had in the dressing room in this current team?
Yeah, I think when we played, they were pretty much like managers on the pitch, and if things weren't working, not that they would go against the manager's wishes or direction, but they would certainly spot sort of weaknesses in the team or vulnerabilities in the team, and they would adapt us on the pitch. They would change formations and move players around. Brian Robson very often would call me into midfield and help out if we were getting overrun. There were, sometimes we would sit as a couple of extra fullbacks as wingers if we were getting overrun, and there doesn't seem to be that. They seem to be getting caught in between the manager's needs and wants and not what the team are really needing on the pitch. And I know we said there's a few leaders in there, Harry Maguire being one of them, but they don't seem to be pulling people about and digging people out like players of our generation.
Sharpe, listen, enough of this football talk, mate. The weather's getting better. Have you got those golf clubs at the closet yet and got them dusted down?
Oh, mate, I've just been on the best weekend of my life, Ali. The Icons tournament in Thailand. We've had England versus the rest of the world. It was absolutely phenomenal. Some incredible names there. We had TV cameras, grandstands, music. It was golf on steroids. It was unbelievable.
Brilliant.
Oh, brilliant.
Sharpe, thank you very much indeed, mate.
Take care, mate.
Thanks, lads. Have a good day. Cheers.
That was Lee Sharpe, this week's 90s football icon. You can watch Marching Powder, starring Danny Dyer, exclusively in cinemas from this Friday.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.